The pumpkins have burst through the ground and are starting to grow. As you can see, they've made a big change since we just planted them a few short weeks ago. What helps them grow so fast is placing the plastic containers around them. This greenhouse effect it creates helps the seeds to pop out of the ground extremely quickly. The plastic containers also help to contain the water inside. This creates a good humid atmosphere for the seeds to grow. When the plants are still small, you want to keep them inside the container to protect them from the elements and just give them a good nurturing environment to grow. But once they get a few inches tall and start to push up against the sides of the plastic containers or whatever container you're using, it's a good time to take them off so they can start growing fully. If you leave the plants in the containers too long, it can actually get too hot for them and it can burn the leaves and really have a poor plant later on that will be weaker. So it's important to take the containers off at the right time. To take the containers off, you want to loosen the soil that you put around the containers. Otherwise, if you just pull them straight out, the roots are so shallow right now on those little plants that it will pull the plants and everything out with it. Not a good idea, after you went to all the work of planting all of those seeds. To break up the soil, just use a small garden shovel or potting shovel like I'm using. Just break up the soil all around them and make sure you can jiggle them off slowly. Don't just yank them. This will possibly tear your plants and the roots and not be a good idea. After you get the containers taken off, you want to reform your hills for the seeds. If you remember, we made small hills for all the seeds. And plants like this, squash and pumpkins and any vine grows best when it's hilled. So just evenly put some soil back around it to form a hill. After I take the plastic containers off all my plants, I also take some preventative measures and powder them with a good garden powder to prevent any of beetles or any other bugs from eating on them. I made a mistake last year of not doing this, and many of my young plants got eaten right away. I use 7 or 8 powder, it's called, to powder all my plants, especially in the field like this. Since I won't be eating the fruit of these plants, I'm not worried about getting it on the plants themselves. This is an extremely good powder and will keep the beetles, which I have the most trouble with, and any other small insect away. But if you have an extremely windy day or it rains and the powder gets washed off, you need to make sure to re-powder them. You want to make sure to stay on top of the seedlings and be checking them constantly if they're getting eaten by any insect. There's nothing more frustrating than going to the work of having a beautiful pumpkin patch, being excited for all the pumpkins, and then realize your plants were destroyed by little bugs. The only thing left to do after you're watching them for powder, taking the containers off, is to just make sure you're watering them as needed. If you're not getting consistent rain, watering them once a week will be a great idea. The plants are still extremely young, and they can be very susceptible to dry weather. If you mulch them, which I love to do, the water will be better retained and you won't have to worry as much. But with these careful and simple steps, you will have a gorgeous pumpkin patch in the making. Thanks for watching our video on gardening. To see more of our gardening series, click over here. Or to watch more of our videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel down here. There's so many great videos to learn from. See you next time.